97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
College football.
The ball is caught. It is a touchdown.
Major League Baseball.
That ball is gone. A home run.
This is your place for complete sports coverage all year long. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Can you get me a little typeset?
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Thom Abraham Show on a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. So glad that you are with us here today for this, this 2-hour exercise in radio excellence, as I like to say. And, look, I got a couple of good ones for you today. I got a couple of top 10s for you today. I teased it at the end of the show yesterday, telling you that there were 9 high schools in the country that called themselves the Crimson Tide. And it shocked me. I was like, really? 9 schools calling yourself the Crimson Tide. The most popular nickname is Eagles, with 1,333 high schools going by the name Eagles. Second is Tigers, 935, which is not surprising since there are 4 teams in the SEC alone that call themselves Tigers. So, Auburn Tigers, the LSU Tigers, the Missouri Tigers. Who am I missing? There's another Tigers, isn't there? Missouri, LSU. Is there only 3? Is it 3 in the SEC or 4 Tigers in the SEC? But in any event, that one didn't surprise me too much. But there are 10 colleges that have nicknames that no high school in the country uses. 10 unique nicknames of college teams, and no high school is using their nickname. I got that list in front of me today. Here's another list I got. I teased this one last week. This one has 14 things on it. Remember, on a Tuesday top 10, doesn't have to have 10 things, and it doesn't even have to be on Tuesday, but this one's on Tuesday. Nearly half of the SEC championship games since the first one in 1992 would have featured a different matchup had there not been divisions like there will be this year. No divisions this year. And Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee really are the most impacted teams. So hopefully we'll get to that too. Let's see if we can't get to that. There's another thing that would look vastly different had they not changed the system, and that's NASCAR. All right, that's a list for another day. But, NASCAR went to that playoff system in 2004, long after Richard Petty retired and Dale Earnhardt died. If we were going to compare apples to apples there without playoffs, without the NASCAR playoffs and all that stuff, it would be Jeff Gordon that would have won 7 championships under the same system that Dale Earnhardt won 7 and Richard Petty won 7. It would be Jeff Gordon, not Jimmy Johnson, tied with the King and the Intimidator at 7. And Johnson, who ironically was brought to Hendrick Motorsports by Gordon. That's why Gordon, was 24 and Johnson was 48. He would only have 3. Jimmy Johnson, 7-time is his nickname, right? He would only have 3 championships under the old system. So when you're comparing Jimmy Johnson to Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt, those guys would have won more than twice as many as him. In fact, Kevin Harvick would have 4 championships. And Tony Stewart would have 2 instead of 3. So that's another list for another time. I have it. But it's very interesting to look at how it would have been. Speaking of very interesting, how about the Braves last night? Down to their final strike in the 9th inning in Arizona.
And the 1-1 pitch on the way to Murphy. And a fly ball, deep right center field. Heading back to the wall. Here comes some smoke. We got a tie ball game. A home run by Murphy. That's out there in the swimming pool. And it's 3 apiece in the 9th.
431 feet by Sean Murphy last night. Then the Braves scored in the 10th. Arizona scores to tie it up at 4. Braves win it in the 11th, 5-4. That's a good win. You know how I always tell you, every team in baseball going to win 60 games and lose 60 games. What your record is determined by the other 40 games. There are 40 games each year that determine what your record is going to be. That's one of the 40 games. You don't know what 40 games it is until they happen. But that's one of the 40 games. That's a game you stole right there. Now, the Yankees on the flip side, they had one of those that they lost. Same scenario against the Red Sox. Down to the last out. Yankees up 3-1. 1 out to get. Clay Holmes on the bump. Gave up a 2-run shot. Lost in extra innings 5-3. That hurts. If you're a Red Sox fan, then you say, well, that's one that you got. Those are those kind of games. Great stuff. The Texas Longhorn faithful are giddy about being in the SEC. And in a few minutes, we're going to head to Austin with Anwar Richardson of YoungBloods.com. Then at the top of the one, David Moulton, whose show Miller and Moulton in the Morning starts your day off at 5 on Talk Radio WZZN. One of his broadcast booth buddies, Joe Buck, will be doing a baseball game for the Cardinals with Chip Carey. Think about that. Chip Carey and Joe Buck, who's Chip Carey's grandfather, Harry Carey, and Joe Buck's dad, Jack Buck, Cardinal broadcasters for all those years. How about Chip Carey? How about a Carey and a Buck in the booth for the Cardinals? Again, I miss Joe Buck on baseball. I got to be honest with you. I miss him on baseball. Anyway, we'll get into numerous things with David Moulton coming up at the top of the hour. Now, your phone lines remain open. 256-576-4977 to get you in. 256-576-4977. You can text the show, 7329-TA-SHOW. 732-982-7469. None of that changes next week, by the way. When our show gets picked up in Winchester by ESPN 1340-1069 in Winchester, none of that changes. Everything stays the same. It's a great way to communicate with us. My X feed stays the same, at Thom Abraham Show. Our station feed here is at 97.7 ESPN. Facebook is at 97.7 ESPN. You can get a link to our YouTube channel there at WZZN TV. We'll still be on WZZN TV. Like and subscribe on YouTube to get notifications. Go to 977ESPN.com, get links to all of that stuff. And while you're at it, get our app. Just search for 97.7 ESPN The Zone from your app store, and you can find links to more great programming there. Now, we're going through a streaming change. Our streaming company that does our streaming has sold to another company. So we're going through streaming deals there with them. The bad news is it's more expensive than the current one. The good news is we could have as many as 10 streams on the Zone. Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, Zone 5, Zone 6, Zone 7, Zone Ocho. We'll call that one the Ocho. Zone Nueve. I don't know if we're going to be using them all. I don't know. All I know is that the High School Sports Streaming Network continues to grow. This year we'll be bringing you the Huntsville High Panthers on a high school sports streaming network and on Talk Radio, 97.7-2. Your home for the Rocket City Trash Pandas. We'll have the Huntsville Panthers over there as well. Once the Trash Panda season is over, we'll come to Trash Panthers. I know Grissom fans would like to call them that, but you don't do that. So we'll have the Panthers. We got the Sparkman will be back. Sparkman Senators will be back on our network. Buckhorn High School will be over the air on the Zone. They look pretty good. I don't want to say anything about expectations and everything. I'm just saying they look pretty good. That's all I'm going to say about that. They got a lot of kids back. Let's just say they're pretty experienced. Now, they got a difficult schedule. It starts off very difficult, but we'll see how it all works out. They could be pretty good. And, of course, Madison Academy, always good. Madison Academy will be here on the network. They are always good. So we're working on a few others for you. There are 3 other schools. One I think is in, but I'm not 100% sure. I got to double check. But there are 3 other schools. So it could be 8 schools in the network this year, plus the game of the week. All right. Over there playing the Platters of Matter and the Stacks of Wax. I'm on our phones making sure that the AC works upstairs here at the Broadcast Empire of the Zone. Keeping us on the air. Maybe not staying up late last night with the Braves. It's DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That Tom? Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today.
What's that?
Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Grizzlicious is still dealing with only getting the occasional Braves game, right? The occasional national broadcast.
I got
of
it on
Braves
Fox over the weekend.
Yeah.
And then it was on something
ESPN
else.
last week. You had one on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
What and who's your provider? You a YouTube TV guy?
YouTube TV.
Yeah, same as me.
And I've got a Samsung TV, but I don't have anything attached to it, so it's like, I get the local channels too there as well, but that's about it.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I wish that like these real free TV channels like Ion and stuff weren't doing the WNBA and the USWL and stuff like that.
They are doing the WNBA
and
the USWL.
They have live games on Ion, which is just a bunch of repeated.
Where are they getting live
cop
games
shows
from?
And stuff? Huh?
Where are they getting live games from?
I don't know. They're because the WNBA and the USWL is promoting so much that if you have a Roku TV,
really, I thought they were strictly on ESPN.
No, Ion has WNBA games from time to time and USWL games, and it's like a weird cop show channel. It's mostly like a detective channel. All those shows, like it'll have like different types of Law and Order and other types of shows throughout the day. But then if it's live, they'll have some games.
So we got some weather moving in at some point this afternoon. They were making it sound like we were going to have some bad residue from that Hurricane Burl.
Yeah,
but there's like a 50-50 chance of thunderstorms at 5 o'clock, and then that's it. It's gorgeous the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And a lot of times on the backside of one of these storms, the weather is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be really nice the rest of the week. So I just would warn people to kind of keep their eye to the sky the rest of the afternoon. There could be some pop-up storms happening.
Last night, I was downtown walking the dog, and they had a concert in the park. Little crazy lightning storm came through.
Just came up out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Heat and everything else.
Yeah.
It's bad, I guess, in around St. Louis, around that area. I've been kind of watching Dallas because we're going to be in Dallas next week. But I'm flying in on Sunday, and I'm just a little bit nervous.
Get that turbulence.
Yeah. But it looks like it's going to be It looks like it's going to be good. Yeah, Sunday is 96 and sunny in Dallas, so that should be good. That's the day I get in there, and I'm flying out of Nashville, and it's going to be 90 and sunny in Nashville. So I guess I'm okay. Yeah, I guess I'm all right with that. So it's going to be
the worst I've ever seen
weather.
when it comes to hurricanes around here is high winds, rain.
But I don't want to fly through that. I don't care. A little high wind or rain. Knock over my. My umbrella table, out on the patio. I can live with that.
You get that rumbling, that shaking.
I just don't want to get knocked out of the sky. You know
Why
what I
can't we
mean?
just go back to trains? I feel like trains are just so much safer.
It would take a long time.
I get it, but
I don't know if they are
the scenery.
Yes, there's scenery. That is interesting. I've downloaded 2 shows, and I've got a new book I started.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to be occupado, on the plane.
It's just that, I get it. I've been on a plane. I haven't been on a plane probably in 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
But the first time I ever went on a plane, I went from Birmingham to D.C. and then D.C. to Italy.
Oh, my.
So
how was that D.C. to Italy thing? I get to heebie. My wife's like, oh, let's go to Italy. And I'm like, I'm good. I just, the thought of being on a plane for 8 hours, which I did as a kid going from Chicago to Hawaii, it's not appealing to me.
No, it definitely wasn't like a driving trip where I can stay up going to the trip, but on the way back, I fall asleep. Going to it, I think I fell asleep for a couple hours, and I woke up, watched a movie, hung out, talked to people, and then got through it.
I thought I was flying with Wes. I thought we were going to be shooting the breeze. You know what I mean? I had my buddy, and it turns out he's flying out of Huntsville, and I fly out of Nashville. So I didn't know that. I thought we were flying together, and then even if we were on the same plane, apparently we wouldn't be together anyway because he would be on the other side of the curtain, if you know what I'm saying. I would be back with the commoners. He would be over there on the other side of the curtain. So what's the point, right? I mean, I thought he and I'd be sitting together, in row 17C, and coach flying out of, Nashville or something. And he's like, no.
But I will say this: the flight from DC to was actually DC to Zurich. And then Zurich over the Alps to Milan.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, which was
flying over the Alps must have been beautiful.
Over the Alps was beautiful, yes. But the plane ride from Birmingham to D.C., when we landed, it was like the plane went, it felt like the plane went like this when we landed. I'm sorry to, scare you.
I don't need to talk about it.
It was like my first ever flight. So
You know what is a really pretty place to fly into, too, is Salt Lake. I did a football game, and so I did play-by-play in a game in Salt Lake. Which is a weird place. Salt Lake is a weird place. But I flew into Salt Lake, and it's weird because they're like at 5,000-6,000 feet elevation.
Yeah.
So it's like you take off, you're down here, and then when you land, you don't go back down as far as you took off. Like if you're flying at 30,000 feet.
Yeah.
When you get there, you're at 25,000 feet.
It's like you're in Louisiana all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's like you're landing before you get all the way down. But it was absolutely gorgeous. Flying over the Rockies and then landing in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
It was absolutely gorgeous.
See, I didn't fly to Colorado. I drove. And that would have been kind of cool to see how everything, but from the ground view is nice. Seeing the Rockies and everything. So
yeah.
But the Alps was flying over Zurich to Milan, that was really cool. And Zurich has a really cool airport. It's like all glass and open and it's just beautiful.
I just realized I haven't been on a plane since 2019. When I flew to San Diego to do a Birmingham Iron game against the San Diego Fleet. I had to do a game and flew to San Diego, went through Houston to get to San Diego. And I flew separately from the team because I was staying a few extra days to see my daughter who lived out there at the time. And Mike Johnson, my color guy from the Crimson Tide, he was my color analyst. He flew with the team out of Birmingham. And the Alliance had rented a charter plane, had booked a charter plane for them.
Oh, nice.
So I'm thinking, oh, nice, right?
Yeah,
Charter plane.
yeah.
Mike says that the plane shows up out of Miami, and it's yellow. The whole plane is
like
yellow.
A bus plane.
Like a bus plane. He said it looked like you could see, like when they were boarding the plane, they didn't board from a gate, they boarded from the tarmac. He said when you're boarding the plane, and now remember, Mike played 5 years in the NFL, traveled all over the world, right? All over the country with the Falcons, and before that with the Tide. He said getting on the plane, he said you literally could see the streaks on the side of the plane where they painted the plane with a paintbrush. You know what I mean? It was like streaks and
Did
runs.
they still have like cigarette lighters and dumpsters
Got
and stuff like
in
that?
the plane. There were ashtrays
Yes.
in the ashtrays in the armrest. He says this plane was so old, it had ashtrays in the armrest.
50s.
It would be 70s.
Or 70s,
It would
yeah.
be
When it was like
this
real
plane was like
classy,
40
yeah.
years old, he
Yeah.
said. I mean, it was ridiculous. And he said that the whole time flying there, and they were nonstop Birmingham to San Diego. I flew to Houston and then Houston to San Diego. He said nonstop Birmingham to San Diego, whatever it is, 5 or 6 hours, 5 hours maybe, rattling. It sounded like bolts were coming loose and everything else. He said he thought he was going to die. He thought there was no way they were going to get there. And then they went to get on the plane to come back after the game, and he said that the plane ended up having to be grounded because it had like multiple issues, an engine hanging off or something. And so they ended up on a regular commercial airline.
Yeah.
And because the charter couldn't make it back from it was like the last flight of that plane was to get those guys to San Diego, and that was it.
And
The
then
plane
they retired it.
Plane couldn't even get back. That was how bad it was.
Yeah, I like the ground.
Bad.
I hate heights and I hate falling. That's why I like the ground.
Well, I got
like the ground underneath
I got
me.
a little vertigo, so
Yeah.
heights are not a good thing for me. All right, let me get Natty Danny in here and get that knocked out since we got Anwar Richardson coming up. Natty Danny, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, when the plane just before it impact on the ground, you're supposed to jump up and you'll be fine.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. I was wondering what it would be like if the plane's going down. Do I have a chance to text my family and tell them I love them? It'd take me 25 minutes to do that with everybody.
But according to your master caller, Grumpy, I'm the guy that debates with Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's okay. Yeah, no problem. With that said, I'll say this. On the plane, how would you like to be with a 3-year-old going over to your overseas? And I'm doing less than a calendar year twice. I'm going back over again.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you don't want to do that with a 3-year-old. I mean, that would be a nightmare. But by the way, we debated this afterwards with some of the listeners at text window and stuff like that. If you're really going to Scotland, are you taking golf? Whether you take your golf clubs or not, because you can rent golf clubs. If you don't go to St. Andrews, you're missing a real opportunity. I know it looks like a goat track on TV, but it's friggin' St. Andrews, man. I mean, it's the birthplace of golf. You got to go to St. Andrews.
Listen, I play golf every week, Tom. All right, I get all the golf I can get. All right,
not at St. Andrews.
I'm very satisfied. It's about for me to spend time with my family, my little granddaughter, my daughter, my son-in-law, my wife. Have a great time. Tom, it's a gold pasture. I just can't get over the way it looks. It's not plush. It's not Augusta. I want nothing to do with it. So it's okay. But, if I drive by it, I'll, maybe take a picture and send it to you. How's that?
I need to have you ever checked to see what the greens fees are? I wonder what it costs to play there.
Yeah, it was pretty expensive. I want to say probably, I think it was like $600 to $700, but you got to wait in line the day before, and you're outside all night long, overnight kind of crap. I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not paying $600 or $700 to play a round of golf.
Well, Tom, that's what they're charging these days. It's ridiculous.
Only Augusta is the only place I would roll that kind of dough to play. And you don't pay to play at Augusta. You got to get invited to play at Augusta.
Right. Well, Steve Spurrier, maybe he can touch you up.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, with that said, yeah. Hey, flying, it all depends on what airlines you get on and your service, and you just don't want to be next to somebody that snores. You know what I'm saying? That might keep you up a little bit.
I'll be at. I'm flying American. I'm flying American Airlines. So
Oh, so I talked to my buddy last night about the Michigan game in Illinois. What they're going to do? They're flying from Texas and Florida and meeting in Nashville. I'm renting a car here in Huntsville, and they're driving from Nashville to Danville, which is 30 minutes from the stadium in Illinois. And so you're looking at probably, from my house, it's 7 hours to get there. But, since you're in Nashville, knock off an hour and a half. So, a little about 5.5 hours. That's not too bad. We're going to drive up there and spend a couple of days there and watch the Michigan game.
That's good. That's good. I mean, it's not a good game. I mean, you're going to blow them out, but.
We're going to blow everybody out. What are you talking about?
No, you blow them out.
We're defending national champions. That license plate comes in October. Natty Dan.
You remember?
People in Huntsville, you know what? Wave to me and say, hey, congratulations, Natty Danny. Okay? I'll see you.
Okay. Appreciate you. You hang on to that thing because you're going to need that for a long time. I mean, it's going to look terrible, 20 years from now when it's still dated. People are going to be like, when did they win a national championship? Let's get a break. When we come back, Anwar Richardson will join us. OrangeBloods.com. We're talking some Texas. Welcome to the SEC football next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flosa Premier. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flo tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flo, think fun for everyone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's the land of the free and the home of student drivers ready to back into your new fence at any given time. It's firing up a round of burgers and dogs on your rusty grill with a faulty gas line that engulfs your tool shed in flames. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Beginning Friday morning, get $50 worth of delicious food from Coralejos Mexican Grill for just $25 with our zone deal at 977ESPN.com. Coupons good for food purchase only.
The battle for a 7th straight division crown is on, and the Braves are on a charge to bring it home to Atlanta.
Bounce up the middle, might get through, it does! Base hit, rattle around third, Braves win! Austin Riley comes through with the winner!
Tonight, stick around for some late-night baseball from Chase Field in Phoenix as Matt Olson and the Braves take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Braves radio's on the air at 8:25 Eastern, 7:25 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Our steady diet consists of food and football, and occasionally some baseball and hoops.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Segment of the show is brought to you by Owen Home Appliance, where it's freezer season right now at Owen Home Appliance Center. So if rising temps have that freezer on its last leg, check out our name brand frost-free upright and chest freezers. And best of all, Owen Home Appliance has them in stock. They're ready to go. They're ready to be delivered. And you don't want to let all that high-dollar food go to waste, or that deer that you shot in the fall. You need to get to Owen Home Appliance Center, get that new freezer. And while supplies last, get the $50 gift card towards the purchase of Wagyu beef when you purchase a freezer. It's Owen Home Appliance, quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's right there in the name. All right, joining us now, it's a go-to guy when you want to go to Austin and you want to talk about the Texas Longhorns. I like Anwar Richardson from orangebloods.com, does a tremendous job, and he joins us now on a Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. Anwar, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. How are you doing? How's your summer been going for you?
Way too short. It's already over because we got to come to your place. We got to come to Dallas next week, and then it's on like Donkey Kong. You know what I mean? Here we go.
Hey, well, just make sure you pack your sunscreen and a bathing suit. It's only over 100 degrees every day here in Texas. So
here's the little secret. The house that we have, the Airbnb that we have for our crew, we're bringing, I think 6 of us are coming out there. The house has a pool. So we're
okay.
So we may just do.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, we may do media days from the house. We may not even go to the hotel. We just might sit in the pool and pretend. We'll take the feed from the hotel and we'll just pretend that we're there. We'll just say, "Hey, we're here in Dallas," and we'll be sitting there.
That's the best way to do it. That's right. You guys will be in here next week, man. Yeah, it's crazy. That we got SEC Media Days kicking off next week with Texas as a part of that, Oklahoma as a part of that. I'm looking forward to that. Also looking forward to meeting you in person as well.
Yeah, well, and it's they've been a hell of a celebration both in Austin and in Norman. On July 1st. What I don't understand is, were you actually off? How did you get off on July 1st and that week when it was like a national holiday that Texas and Oklahoma were joining the SEC?
I actually did go out to that celebration that was there on the lawn at UT. So it was, when I say hot, I mean, it was hot. I don't know what they said that the final number of people was there. I don't know what their number was. I don't know. It could have been no less than 15,000, 20,000 at least. Wow. I mean, it was crazy. It was a huge celebration, though. I think Texas is really – it has been anticipating this for a while. They really, over the past couple of years, started with the whole, and which they had to say, right? They had to say, look, we're focused on the Big 12. Our focus is on the Big 12, but we really can't worry about the SEC. We'll worry about that when it gets closer. But I think especially when we started getting into 2024, the anticipation of the SEC started to grow, and they kind of let their hair down and kind of let loose and kind of with the countdown. So, for Texas, it ends up being, for them, an exciting time, right? They're able to walk out with a Big 12 championship in football and feel good about themselves. They're able to walk out with a director's club, right? And so to be able to feel good about their athletic program. So they don't come in feeling like they're limping into the SEC and how do they belong and how do they fit in or anything like that. They come in feeling pretty good about, hey, being able to come into the SEC, trying to compete from day one, in all sports, but of course we're focusing on football, and their chances of having a really successful season. So there's a lot of anticipation, a lot of eagerness, a lot of excitement about the schedule, and it goes back to even last year. Texas feeling good about, hey, they went into Alabama. It was able to win by double digits on the road, which is something you just don't see happen to an Alabama team. That's not the thing that they do at home. So they walk into this year feeling good about Quinn Ewers, feeling good about, their entire offense, feeling good about the defensive guys that they have in place, and feeling good that, hey, they've got a chance to compete on day one.
And they do have a chance to compete from day one. Of course, before you get around to playing an SEC game, you got a month of games before that, including that little trip to Michigan. I mean, come on, that's
just a little trip.
Yeah, don't be looking too far ahead. You got that little trip to Michigan to take care of, and then you don't play an SEC game until Mississippi State comes in on the 28th of September. That's not really an SEC game, but then you get the shootout, and I'm going to continue to call it the shootout. I don't care what those people say over there. That's the Red River Shootout. But that's still, I mean, you've been playing that for a million years, so that doesn't feel SEC-ish, even though it's an SEC rivalry game now. But when Georgia gets there, October 19th, that's going to be your real welcome to the SEC moment, right? When the Bulldogs show up on October 19th.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, first of all, you're correct, right? That Texas has to play Michigan on the road in Ann Arbor. They're playing the defending national champs, right? And so, yes, they lost guys to the NFL, but Texas lost guys to the NFL as well. So, that should be a great game and a good, obviously, barometer for Texas. And but the non-conference schedule is pretty good in their favor when you start talking about after that UTSA and La Monroe, right? So you get a chance to kind of get your win back, regardless of what happens in that game. And to your point, as far as the OU game, it will be an SEC game, right? But that's always a tough game, for Texas. That's a rivalry game. Things happen. The quote unquote teams that finish with the better records don't always win that game because that's how it happens. So Texas still has to find a way to get past them. They lost to Oklahoma last year. As successful and as great as that year was for them, they still lost against OU. So you still got to get the success against that OU program and what Venables is doing, and they do a great job over there. And then to your point, then you get to that Georgia game, and we'll see what happens at that point. But once you get to Georgia at home, that in itself is another big test. That's a huge barometer before you get to everybody else. But that in itself, I mean, Georgia's a team that we know is going to be a playoff team. We know they're probably going to be in the top 4 when it's all said and done. And so that becomes a major thing. But again, it'll be at home, and it'll be kind of I think there will be the new test for people. Like, okay, now that you're really in the SEC, how do you stack up against this team? Would it be the fairest, by the way, task or ask, right? Because most teams don't stack up that well against Georgia. I mean, that's a hard ask for anybody. But we'll see what happens. Two of the better quarterbacks in the nation will go against each other that year. Two of the better, quarterbacks, two of the better coaches, rather, in the country will go against each other. And so that in itself will be a huge test for Texas. And then we didn't even talk about, like everybody else, the Floridas of the world that could be a better team, this year. Texas A&M at the back end as far as that rivalry is concerned. So the thing I was always saying is getting up for SEC game, bowl game. That's one thing, but you got to do that week in and week out and go through the gauntlet. That's the tougher part, and I think that's what makes the SEC so challenging. You can get up for them in week 2, but can you do it every week after week? Florida, Kentucky's, and everybody else you have to face. That will be the real challenge for Texas.
Yeah, it did. Look, it's favorable. SEC fans will tell you it's favorable. You play the Vanderbilt and Kentucky on a road. You play Arkansas in Fayetteville. They're not, a real problem. I'm sorry. You got Kentucky at home. So you get the better teams, Georgia at home, Kentucky at home, and then going to Texas A&M. I am intrigued, though, about the feeling about that Texas A&M game because you've got a similar situation to Alabama. Alabama has the Iron Bowl, right? And the Iron Bowl is a thing. But then there's Alabama-Tennessee. And Alabama-Tennessee is a lot of hate around Alabama-Tennessee. So you guys got this Texas-Oklahoma game, but then you got this Texas A&M game at the end of the season. Contrast those two games. Do they have the same vibe? Is one feel differently than the other? Which one has more of a distaste and almost a hatred involved in it?
The real hatred thing is Texas versus Texas A&M, right? Now, Texas fans will tell you that the Oklahoma game matters more to them, only because they don't want to give Texas A&M that kind of credit. I'm just keeping it real right here. Like, they'll OU matters the most. No, that A&M game is going to matter the most when it's all said and done, because first and foremost, you go throughout the state of Texas, you're going to either see two bumper stickers, license plates, or whatever. It's going to be Texas. It's going to probably be Texas A&M. Like, that's just what it is. That rivalry game.
Having a little problem with his phone there. Yeah. Oh yeah. It may be that. It may be wherever he's traveling to. We have to reconnect with him. You know, the interesting part of that is if Texas is 11-1, and they're 11-1 and they lost to Oklahoma, or they're 11-1 and they lost to Texas A&M. The question is, which is more painful? You know, that's at the end of the day, that's what you got to feel, is what is more painful. If they were to go 11-1, it's like, you know, an Alabama fan, you can relate. Alabama fan, you go 11-1, and you lose to Tennessee, and they throw the goalpost in the river, or if you go 11-1 and you lose the Iron Bowl. I think. And I'll speak for myself. I think I'd rather have a loss to Tennessee than a loss to Auburn. I think. Now, the way Tennessee fan reacted 2 years ago, I mean, it was kind of ridiculous, but that's okay. You got to give them their due for that. But that's the kind of thing, that's the vibe that Texas fan has. Texas's non-conference schedule, you know, Michigan is a real thing, and it's at Michigan. Give them credit for going to Ann Arbor. The other three games are Colorado State, UTSA, and UL Monroe. Those are cupcakes. That's too many cupcakes. Oklahoma, they've got Temple, Houston, Tulane, and Maine as their non-conference games. That's horrific. Now, I know Houston is a Core 4 conference team now that they're in the Big 12. You know, Tulane, you know, doesn't suck out loud. Temple does for the most part. Maine, I don't even know what the Black Bears playing. But Oklahoma, outside of the Texas game, of course, they both have that. But Oklahoma also has to travel to Auburn. They have to play Tennessee, albeit in Norman. They have to play Alabama, albeit in Norman. And then they also travel to LSU. And they go to Ole Miss. Oklahoma's got a rough schedule. You look at Oklahoma's schedule. I mean, Tennessee is going to be a preseason top 10 team. Auburn at Auburn is always going to be a thing. Ole Miss is a top 10 team, and it's on the road. Alabama's a top 10 team. That's at home. Missouri isn't going to be easy. It's at Missouri. That's a top 25 team. And then the trip to Baton Rouge to end the season. So, you know, it's Oklahoma definitely got the shorter straw when it came to that. All right. I think we're done with Anwar. We lost him. He must have gotten in one of them bad spots. I don't know where in, you know, Central Texas or Austin, Texas, where you lose, where you have bad service. But wherever it is, it's where he is. But that's all right. All right, we're okay. We're good with him. All right, let's get a break in here. When we come back, phone lines open. Maybe we'll hit one of our two top 10s that we have for you. We'll do it next right here on the Thom Abraham Show. More after this.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
In Phoenix, the Braves beat the Diamondbacks 5-4 last night in 11 innings. Atlanta now with wins in 3 straight. They're second in the NL East behind Philadelphia, 7.5 games out of first place. The Braves tied it with 2 runs in the top of the 9th. Sean Murphy hit a 2-run homer. Both teams scored in the 10th. Marcel Ozuna put the Braves ahead for good with a sac fly in the top of the 11th. Braves starter Bryce Elder went 5 innings. He allowed 3 runs on 4 hits with 2 walks and a strikeout. Diamondbacks rookie Gilbert Diaz made his major league debut. 6 innings, 1 run allowed on 4 hits with 5 strikeouts. Tonight, Zach Gallen starts for the plus 110 Diamondbacks against Chris Sale. The Braves minus 130. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
Join us next week, live from Dallas, for SEC Media Days. 9 hours a day of coverage on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
Can't do it, Grizz. I can't do it. I know we've been talking about maybe getting rid of bump music. I cannot do it.
I feel like this is all right as long as we don't use the lyrics. I think this part of it is.
You think?
Like background, like instrumental, yeah.
Okay. So we
as
got
long
to
as
get
the
more of those.
instrumental
We need to
isn't
go,
copyright.
We have to go through ours.
Yeah.
Which means like in the Freebird bump, you got to start it with the instrumental.
Yeah.
Right where the break is. You know what I mean? You got to. We can edit that one.
Yeah.
You know, right at the break. We don't. I cannot fly like a free bird. So we can do that. We can go through the other music maybe and just get rid of the lyrics.
It just doesn't make any sense nowadays. I mean, I watch people that'll go back and like take recordings of baseball games and do breakdowns, and it's like, oh, it's okay, you know. And
I'll tell you why it's happening.
Yeah.
Having 2 kids that are in the music industry, I'll tell you why. Nobody buys music anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're doing everything in their power to try and get some money to these people.
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean? Nobody buys an album anymore. It used to be you bought an album or you bought a CD or you bought a tape or you bought an 8-track. Nobody buys anything anymore, music-wise. So the only way to get paid is for live performances, all right, or to get rights fees for people using The music.
So how does TV work then? If like
they're paying.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you'll have like these Defy networks or whatever that are like free channels, but they're paying, but you're watching like History Channel old shows and stuff like that. So do those people get royalties from that?
In some cases, well, no. They're making their library available. What you don't know, like for example, with Defy and History Channel, they may be in the same group.
Yeah.
They may be the same people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like TNT and TBS and whatever. They may be True TV. They're all the same people.
Right.
So I don't know if Defy owns a History Channel.
Well, it's just a wonder because like Defy will do A&E shows too. Because like Defy will
but
do
A&E, Discover, History. Those are all the same people.
Company. But I wonder if they pay the people that are on the show still if they're alive or not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. However, whatever the particular deal was,
or family,
in some cases it's a royalty. In some cases it's a one-time fee.
Because that's why I wonder how they do it with YouTube. Because like you pay for YouTube Premium, you get all like no interruptions, anything like that. You can listen to it anytime throughout the day. You can watch videos on YouTube with no interruptions. But then it's a perk for YouTube TV as well if you have YouTube TV.
Yeah, because you're paying now. They don't need the advertising.
Right, but I mean, like, so if they're playing, like, if I'm playing a playlist that's not on Spotify or any other like music venue or anything like that,
right?
Like, dude, I guess these people that they put their music on YouTube don't get any royalty out of it or anything like that either. I would think, right? I mean, like, because I can play like the newest song tomorrow on YouTube.
My daughter has a video that's out now, a new video that's out now.
Unless you monetize, I guess.
Well, I mean, if it were monetized, and that's what some of them are. I mean, some of them get millions of plays. But my daughter's music video is out, and it's on YouTube, and there's other places that you can get it. But they only make money when people buy the song through Spotify or something like that. Most of the money she makes playing live.
I heard a guy last Monday at the concert in the park talk about they were giving out CDs, and then he was like, I don't know who actually knows what a CD is, but he's like, we got plenty of CDs for sale. I was like, I don't even have anything to play it, maybe.
Yeah. This segment of the show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, where thousands of area residents have received world-class care from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. TOC services the Huntsville Havoc, Alabama A&M, and most of the high schools in the region, with 13 locations throughout the Tennessee Valley. If you have an orthopedic problem or considering professional care, TOC is the only logical choice. Stay in the game with the best physicians, the best facility to get you back in the game. It is TOC. All right, let's go to the lines with our buddy LSU Lynch. LSU Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you?
Son, we've read it. So explain to me again what's going on with this new station that has picked you up.
Our show just will be here. There'll be an affiliate for the Tom Abraham show. They're also carrying the Morning Blitz, and the show will be heard in Winchester, Tennessee as well, in Franklin County, Tennessee, which just happens to be my hometown. It'll be heard up there as well as here, and our signal kind of peters out. Our 97.7 ESPN The Zone signal peters out right before you pull into Winchester. So this signal will overlap that because this signal picks up somewhere around Huntland, Tennessee, and it will take it all the way to Tullahoma, Tennessee. So it'll be heard there.
So my question being, so they'll be able to listen to all of us live and be able to call in like us, right?
Yeah. That's why I said don't embarrass me.
Lord.
I'm just saying don't embarrass, because when you call this show, all right, when you call this show, or if you call the Morning Blitz, when you call this show, you will be heard on multiple stations, and not only here in Huntsville but also in Winchester. So there you go.
I think that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It was like when I was on in Nashville and Huntsville and Montgomery and Florida all at the same time. It was just more.
Here's my thing, too. I got two things I'll say to you real quick. This may be the dead time, but it's not. You hear me? Y'all talking, you're talking about the helmets and all that, the names. Look here, we're the Bayou Bengals, Yankee.
Yeah.
We're the Bayou Bengals. We ain't the Missouri Tiger. We're the LSU Bayou Bengals. And I've got the best trifecta here for this year to be the losers. You hear me?
Yeah.
And I'm going to hang up. We're going Dallas, Auburn, and Ronnie J. Go LSU.
They may be the Bayou Bengals, but that's a nickname.
Yeah.
They're the LSU Tigers.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're the Tigers. Just
Auburn,
like Missouri,
Mizzou.
just like Auburn, just like Clemson. They're the Tigers. That's what they are. Tigers. There are 9 teams that have a unique name. 9 college teams that have a unique name. I feel like I should run them down. When does that music fire, Grizz? In 55 seconds? I'm not going to run them down then. I'm not going to run them down. I have that list in front of me. I'm trying to decide which list should I use with Moulton. I think what I'll do with David Moulton is might talk a little bit about the championship games that weren't. Also, though, with him, we got to get into this Joe Buck game. There's Joe Buck and Chip Carey, and we'll mention it with Josh Carey, is Chip's brother. We'll mention that tomorrow as well. But Chip Carey and Joe Buck doing a Cardinals game, you know, unfortunately, it's like the Cardinals. I think it's the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks or something like that. It would have been better if it was Cardinals and Cubs. It was supposed to be the Cardinals and Cubs, and it got rained out. Harry, Carey, and Joe Buck got together, or Jack Buck. Harry, Carey, and Jack Buck, they got together, and they rained out that game. They're like, no, the kids aren't doing this game. Not going to let that happen. All right, coming up next, David Moulton. Then we'll see. Do we have time to get 2 top 10s in? We'll see if we can do it. All right, it's the Tom Abraham Show. Locked and loaded for another hour. Right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family, because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Celebrate and honor those who have served our country. The annual Military Tribute Night at Toyota Field is Saturday, September 14th. For the 5th straight year, the USA Patriots amputee softball team will square off with the local veterans of AUSA. The patriotic extravaganza will be capped off by a post-game fireworks spectacular. Tickets are $10. Get yours at trashpandasbaseball.com/events.
have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Tom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by our good friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Whether you listen in Tennessee or in Alabama or in Florida, it doesn't matter. North Alabama Mortgage has you covered. And if you're thinking about a home improvement, use your home equity now and refi later when the when the rates drop. You can always fix that. And you can use your equity to eliminate the consumer debt forever and then refi to a lower rate and a shorter term when the rates drop. More NorthAlabamaMortgage.com can help you with all of that. Brian Hammaker and his team standing by to help you out with that. And if you're like David Moulton and you're looking at buying an investment home or a second home on a lake or the beach or in the mountains, they got great programs to make that happen as well. Again, visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. All right, David Moulton joins us now from his palatial dig somewhere in Jacksonville, Florida. He is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He is also on WZZN TV, and he joins us now. David, welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July holiday.
No, not exactly. My wife had her knee replaced, so I've been Nurse David for the last 8-9 days, and it's those that have had a hip, a knee. Apparently, the knee's the worst.
Really?
It's not fun.
Is she milking it or what? What do you think? Yeah, I mean, do you think she's milking it? You think a little too much? David do this, David do that. And how long will this last?
Tom, let's be honest. You and I have both been married a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, and we both, married way, out over our skis. And I think the key to both of our marriages is that you and I have both been gone a lot. All right. So when you're forced to spend a lot of time together and really close, intense time together, I think, Tom, the only thing that's working in my favor is the fact that she needs me more than it hurts. Okay. But I think pretty soon it's going to hurt more than she needs me. And then I'm in trouble.
Yeah, and she's getting dangerously close to the football season here because, I mean, it won't be long before you'll be getting on that plane and flying Canton, Ohio, for the Hall of Fame game, and it'll be like, you know what, honey, you're on your own here. Gotta get the daughter here to come in and take care of you, maybe.
Listen, it is very difficult being married to you and to me, but yes, when we're discussing dates for the surgery and it's like, well, I got the Hall of Fame game August 1st. Yeah. We got to get this thing out of the way, and then, by late August, you're not going to see me. Come on now. We got to schedule this.
It'd be funny if she'd have come back with, oh, come on, honey, it's the Hall of Fame game. It's a glorified scrimmage. You really need to be there. I mean, really. I mean, Joe. Maybe Troy needs you there at the Hall of Fame game, for God's sakes. I mean, that's what I would have said if I were her.
This is how much things have changed in 9 days. Yeah. 9 days ago, it was, listen, I need you. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yesterday, she said to me, so when's the Hall of Fame game? And I told her, she goes, oh, so you're leaving? I go, yeah, good. So that's how quickly things have changed.
Yeah. My wife's not thrilled about me heading to Dallas on Sunday to go over and cover SEC Media Days, where we'll be broadcasting next week from. But, man, I'll tell you what. We had Anwar Richardson on earlier from Orange Bloods, and last week we covered Oklahoma's entry into the league. Both of those places are just absolutely over the moon about being in the SEC. And the universities, it may be about the money, but, the fans, that's what kind of almost surprises me a little bit, is that the fans are just totally embracing this whole thing. Both of them having huge events at midnight when the clock struck July 1 and, losing their minds over coming to the SEC.
Well, I mean, listen, it's the best league going.
Yeah.
And, who doesn't want to be part of the best league? Now, let's play the expectation game, if you will. And I don't know if you asked this of your guests last week or this week, but we've been doing it on our show. So over the course of the next 10 years, 2 with a 12-team playoff and 8 with a 14-team playoff, how many times do you expect your team to make the playoffs? And my guess is Texas and Oklahoma fans' number is going to be pretty close to 10, and they're going to be disappointed.
Well, tell me if it's a 16-team playoff or if it's a 12-team playoff. If it's a 16, they're going to make it almost every year. I mean, remember, Oklahoma, went through that run of making, a lot. But to your point, next year for Oklahoma, in what is a very important year for Brent Venables, although he's not on a hot seat, they got a popcorn non-conference schedule, but their SEC schedule, they're hosting Tennessee, they're going to Auburn, they're going to Ole Miss, they're going to Baton Rouge, they're hosting Alabama, they're going to Missouri, Columbia. That's not going to be a lay-down game. I mean, they could be 7-5 and be better than they were last year.
Well, and with that kind of schedule, you could be a good team and be 8-4, and that's not getting you in the playoff.
No.
It's not getting you in a 16-team playoff. It's not getting you in a 12 or a 14-team playoff either.
They think they get in with 9-3. My Oklahoma guy says they get in with 9-3, and I'll say I can get my arms around that if you tell me that you beat either Alabama, LSU, or Tennessee and Texas. You know what I mean? It has to be a certain kind of 9-3. If you lose to two of them, if you go 2-2 against Tennessee, Texas, Alabama, and LSU, if you go 2-2 there and you beat Ole Miss on the road, let's say, maybe you got tripped at home by somebody, we can live with that. It's got to be a good 9-3.
I agree. Like if you look back at Nick's run and we put it in a 12 or 14 team playoff, Nick would have made the playoff. If you take his first year out of the equation, his last 16 seasons, he would have made the playoffs 15 times. Only the 2010 team that went 9-3 in the regular season would have missed either a 12 or 14 team playoff. They were BCS 16 heading into the bowls that year. Yeah. So it depends on your 9-3. Like, Nick's 3 that year were, LSU and Auburn in November. And so he dropped out. I agree with you. 9-3 is close though. Remember, Tom, right? You have to think in terms of, if you're in the Big Ten or the SEC, you got to think of finishing in the top 4 in the league. All right. Maybe when we go to 14 teams, one of those two leagues could have a season where they get a 5th team. But right now, you have to be thinking, no matter who you're a fan of in those two conferences, if we're going to make the playoff, we got to be top 4 in the league. And obviously, you figure top 2 are going to play for the conference title. So there's not a ton of room for error there. Like, I'll play the expectation game with you. Tennessee, a Tennessee fan, over the next 10 years, 2 with a 12, 8 with a 14. How many times does the average Tennessee fan think they're going to be in the playoffs?
6.
That's it?
I'd say 6, yeah.
Okay.
I think 6.
Now you got to think as a fan here, not as Tom Abraham.
Well, I think a reasonable fan would think 6.
Okay.
And I don't think 14 will last another 8 years after that. But anyway, that's a different story. Yeah,
well, but we have to go with what's on paper.
Right.
I mean, we have to go with what's on paper now.
Yeah, what we know. I don't think that they think that they can make – I think that, if they made the playoffs a little more than half the time in this league, I think that that's really good, to be honest with you.
I agree. I thought the number might be 7, but okay. Yeah. So, but, that's the other thing that's going to start
Miami
happening,
Hurricane
Tom.
fan, how often they thought they'd be in the ACC championship game. Are you kidding me? Look at them. And they fell right off the face of the earth.
Tom, we did the game this morning with the Big 12, in which we just rattled, and there's 16 teams now in it. Right. And I just asked my co-host, I go, you play a reasonable fan of all these teams and tell me how many times you think you're going to make the playoff. And you have to think going forward, the Big 12 is a 1-bid league. Only the conference champion is going to get in. And we added it up, and the number came to 25.
Yeah.
So think about that. We're going to have 10 bids over 10 years, and the expectation is that those teams are going to somehow equal 25 bids. You know what we're getting at here.
Yeah.
Yes, there's great opportunity with 12 and 14, but there's going to be a lot of pressure. When there was only 2 and 4, Tom, let's face it, a lot of these programs and fan bases never thought they'd sniff a playoff. Now they're kind of expecting it.
Well, at 12 this year, I mean, just think about what's right in front of us. At 12 this year, you say they're a one bid league. I think that the Big Ten and the SEC are 4-team leagues. So that leaves 4.
Yes.
All right, that leaves 4.
Mm-hmm.
Are you thinking 3 from the ACC and only 1 from the 12? And no. Because you got to take one from the. You got to take a group of 5. You know.
Right. That's right. So if
you think
if you
1,
go
1,
4,
and 2.
If you go 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten, that's 8. 1 from the Big 12. Let's just go 1 from the ACC, Notre Dame, and group of 5. There's your 12.
Boom.
Now, if there's a second team from the ACC, perhaps, then maybe it's going to take a bit away from the SEC or the Big Ten.
Yeah. David Moulton with us here. All right, so I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to be the surrogate for my guy from orangebloods.com, Anwar Richardson, because I asked him this question, and immediately when I asked him the question, his phone dropped out. Now, he might have hung up on me, but his phone, we're going to say that his phone dropped out, okay? You're Texas, all right? Texas has got a very favorable schedule. I mean, the flip side is as much as it can be. They got the game at Michigan. No doubt that's a thing. Their first SEC game doesn't come until week 5, and it's Mississippi State at home. That's almost not even – you're not even feeling it yet. The Oklahoma game, you've been playing for 100 years, so that's – it's an SEC game, but come on. Your first feel an SEC game, against Georgia on October 19th. So let's just play the 10-2 game for Texas. Let's say Texas is 10-2. Is it more painful for Texas fan? Because this is similar to what Alabama fan goes through. If you're Texas and you were 10-2, but you beat Oklahoma and lost to Texas A&M, which is more painful? Or beat Oklahoma, who beat you last year. You beat Oklahoma, but you lost to Texas A&M. I think one's more of a hate thing. One's more like Alabama-Tennessee, where the other one is more of a rivalry thing, like Alabama-Auburn. But for Texas fan, if they lost one or the other, which one would be more painful, losing to Oklahoma or losing to Texas A&M?
Well, first off, don't you think the Texas A&M game means more to A&M than it does to Texas?
It used to, but does it now?
Well,
can Steve Sarkisian go to College Station and get beat by a first-year coach? You know what I mean? How bad would that be in the state of Texas?
Well, he went to the playoff last year. If he's 10-1 going into that game, he's very likely in the playoff. I mean, yeah, it would suck for the fans, but it's something I think you can overcome. The Oklahoma game, I think, is the biggest game on their schedule. To me, Texas is Michigan and A&M is Michigan State. And we got the big brother, little brother thing going on here. It's a bigger game for A&M than it is for Texas. So I think to the Texas fan, okay, yeah, it's bragging rights and all that, but I actually think the OU game means more to them.
So that would mean more to them. All right. Okay, I want to. It's Tuesday. We do our Tuesday top 10. Well, we got the intern over there on the board. All right, Grizz, I'm relying on you. Hit me with a little. I'm going to do Tuesday top 10 with David Moulton. Hit me with a little Tuesday top 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the Tuesday top 10.
All right, Shane and the Moneymakers there. All right, David, this is interesting. I didn't realize that. If I asked you, and maybe you did this topic, so maybe you know the answer. Of course, this year we got no divisions in the SEC. Now, we know that last year, if there were no divisions, Tennessee would have been playing Georgia in the SEC championship game, and Alabama wouldn't have had the chance to go there and do what they did in the SEC championship game. Would you venture to guess how many times since 1992, when they played the first SEC championship game, if they had no divisions the whole time, how many times would the matchup have been different than what we had in the last however many, 29 years, 30 years, 28 years?
So from 92 through last year, so that's 32 SEC title games.
Right. How many times would it have been a different matchup entirely had there not been divisions?
12.
14. Which is stunning to me, 14. Now, the first time it would have been reared its ugly head, 1993. Remember, Florida beats Alabama. Florida's 7-1. Alabama is 5-2-1. But before the SEC West was dominant, as you remember, the SEC East was dominant. Remember all those years the SEC East was dominant. So who got screwed? That year and the following, and in 95, in 93 and 95, Florida played Alabama in 93. They would have played Tennessee, who was 6-1-1 and finished behind Florida by a half a game, right, in the East. And then in 95, Florida was undefeated. They played Arkansas at 6-2. They should have played Tennessee, who was 7-1. In 96, Florida played Alabama for the third time in the first 4 years. They beat Alabama, and again, it should have been Florida and Tennessee. It's Tennessee that kept getting screwed out of going to that game by finishing behind Florida every year, but better than anybody in the West.
Well, and that's why the Florida-Tennessee game, which was always played in September, and when Tennessee lost it in the 90s, seemingly every time, it was as if, well, hell, their season's over, because how are they going to make up 2 games on the Gators the rest of the way?
Yeah. So in 97, Tennessee plays Auburn, and they beat Auburn in the SEC championship game. Auburn was 6-2. However, Florida was 6-2, had beaten Auburn. It would have been, again, Tennessee and Florida. So this whole Florida-Alabama thing that kept happening early on in the SEC championship, it really should have been Tennessee and Florida every year. This is the end of Philip Fulmer, or I shouldn't say the end, but during Philip Fulmer's heyday, if you will. The following year, it happens again. It's Tennessee beating Mississippi State. Who should Tennessee have played? Florida. Tennessee and Florida should have played in 5 of the first 7 SEC championship games. I find that fascinating.
And, then when Nick goes to Alabama, first after building LSU up, then, outside of Florida under Urban, the West was dominant.
Yes.
And how many times would Alabama and LSU have been played for the SEC title?
It flips over. Where's Nick first? Nick is at LSU, and he takes LSU in 2001 and beats. He was 5-3, by the way, to win the West. He won it at 5-3, which is a rarity. And then he beat Tennessee.
To keep Tennessee out of the national championship game.
Exactly. And Tennessee should have been playing Florida. Again, 2001 should have been Tennessee and Florida. 2002, Georgia beats Arkansas, who finished right behind Georgia in the East. Arkansas was 5-3 coming out of the West. Should have been Georgia and Florida, which brings us to some very interesting possibilities that could come up in terms of rematches. Because if you fast forward ahead a little bit, now Alabama then gets kind of stiff on a couple of them later on. But if you go back to this, let's say 2011. 2011, LSU beats Georgia, right?
Right. They would have played Bama again in a rematch.
Exactly. They would have played Bama in a rematch. But speaking of rematches, how about 2013? Auburn beat Missouri in 2013.
And we would have, the week after the kick 6, they would have played again.
They would have played again. Can you imagine that? They would have come back and played again. And that's what we're facing the possibility of in both the Big Ten. It could happen even more prevalently with, because Ohio State and Michigan are so dominant. But it could absolutely happen in Atlanta. I mean, not this year. You wouldn't project that to happen this year or at either of them. But Auburn and Alabama could have had back-to-back. I don't even know what you would call it. You wouldn't call it another Iron Bowl 2, but it could have happened.
I'm curious if the first time that happens in a major conference where they play the last weekend of the regular season, and then, oh, by the way, they're playing again the very next week, whether or not the fan bases are going to like that or whether they're going to go, well, it kind of makes the regular season not as big a deal. I mean, Don't you think – I mean, first off, it adds to how significant the kick 6 was, okay?
All right.
Bama didn't get – it was just the BCS in 20. That was the last year of only 2 teams.
Yeah.
So that ended the three-peat. It was over. They didn't get another shot at them in Atlanta. They didn't get a chance to get a shot at them in a 14 playoff. I mean, that's another reason why the kick 6 game is as dramatic as it was. It's arguably the Iron Bowl with the most stakes ever.
Yeah, they destroyed Missouri in the 2013 championship game. And then I would venture that they would have beaten Florida State. I think they win that national championship game, in 2013. Probably that one moment in time cost them a national championship game. It happened, by the way, again in 2020. the last time before last year. Remember, that's the year Alabama is 10-0 in 2020. They beat Florida, who was 8-2. Theoretically, they would have been playing Texas A&M, and that was the weird year, when everybody played 10, and Texas A&M didn't. Remember that? So Florida went 8-2. Texas A&M was actually 8-1. So by percentage, they were better. But without divisions, it would be Alabama. It would have been Alabama and Texas A&M. And the interesting thing now, everybody's going to look at this the opposite way now the rest of time, or at least for the next few years. Would you say this year that the odds-on favorite to happen in Atlanta is two teams traditionally from the same division? Do you think this year's SEC championship game, if you had to call it now, and we'll make all these predictions next week in Dallas, but if you had to call it now, to me it feels like Georgia-Dallas or Georgia-Texas. It feels like Georgia-Texas right now if you were to put me against the wall, and that would be an East-West game. But what do you handicap the chances of us getting two teams from what would have been the same division?
Yeah, I don't think we'll get two teams in the SEC from the same division. And I don't think we'll get it in the Big Ten either. I think that there's a really good chance of a rematch from a regular season matchup. I think that could happen in both conference championship games. But, like if Ohio State loses at Oregon, I think there's a really good chance that they meet again for the Big Ten title.
That's a good point. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out because you talked about, what the regular season means. What's going to happen, and for the sake of just the last several years, what we've looked at traditionally, if Alabama and Georgia meet in Atlanta and both are 11-1 or one's 12-0 and one's 11-1 or whatever, something like that, it's an exhibition game. I mean, what's it mean? I guess it means that home game, right? That bye. It will mean the bye. It means the bye. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and having to win 3 games versus 4 to win the Natty.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Now, the athletic department may root for not having the bye because they get the money. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see. We found this out in the NFL. How important is it to be a 1 and a 2 versus everybody else? Is the bye important? Now we just have a 1 seed with the bye. How important is that? So far it's proven not to be that important. We'll find out in college football. How significant is it if 2 juggernauts are meeting in a conference title game? The one team wins, so they get a top 4 seed, and the other team goes in as a 5 seed and has to win 4 games.
Yeah, I'll take be honest with you, I don't know. I'd take the 10-2. I'd take the 10-2 and stay home on Thanksgiving or on that first Saturday in December. Take the 10-2. I'm a playoff team, and then I'll rest up. I'll see you on December 15th. We'll play a game at home. We'll beat Tulane, at home, because that's what's going to end up. That's what my fear is that those first 4 games, that first round is going to be blowout city, all the way across the board. I think very, very rarely are we going to get a real competitive game in the first round. That's the way I think it's going to end up.
It's funny. We get 4 games in the first round. I think it'll be 2-2.
A lot of the time.
Yeah, because you'll have good teams. Think about it. The 3rd best team in the Big Ten and the SEC is going to be sitting home, okay, preparing for somebody who's going to lose in their conference title game in all likelihood. Or they're going to get a Big 12 or ACC champion, say. I actually think of the 4 first-round games, it'll go 2-2.
This is what we would have had. We would have had Liberty at Florida State. Blowout.
Well, I mean, healthy Florida State blowout.
Florida State, yeah. Well, and also kids playing that didn't opt out, not an opt-out Florida State. Yeah, a real Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State, even with the 3rd-string quarterback, they would have won by a couple scores, easy. I mean, Liberty played the easiest schedule, literally, in the country last year. They were a fraud.
I'm changing my opinion a little bit. Here's the other 3 games: Missouri at Oregon. Last year.
Would have been
not a bad
game.
Not a bad game. I think Oregon wins.
Been a good game.
They might win by double digits, pulling away. Ole Miss at Georgia. Could have been a game, a little bit.
I think Lane gets it to halftime.
Penn State at Ohio State.
Yeah.
That's your 4th game.
Yeah, would have been interesting. Yeah. By the way, you just named I believe the team that sneakily has the most pressure on them this year, Penn State.
Well, it's the coach for sure. Yeah, that has the most pressure. I hate to say it.
Well, but also, the Big Ten's interesting this year because, remember, we've had years in the past where the SEC's had a bunch of returning quarterbacks, and then we've had years in the past where the SEC had no returning quarterbacks. Penn State's the only team that we think has a pulse in the Big Ten who has a returning quarterback. Everyone else has a question at quarterback. USC, Ohio State, Michigan. We can go down the line. Okay, even Oregon. Dylan Gabriel's talented, but he's never played under this kind of pressure. Washington's quarterback obviously is new. I mean, so all the expected top teams in that conference have a question mark at quarterback, except for the returner at Penn State.
Yeah.
And is he the answer or not?
By the way, play it out. The winner of that Liberty-Florida State game, which is Florida State, they would play Alabama. And Alabama wins that, and so they're in the Final Four just like they were last year. Missouri-Oregon winner, which we're in agreement that Oregon wins that game, is playing Michigan. Okay, I said at, but it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be at, right? Because no, they're only the first round. So Oregon, Michigan. I'll take Michigan to win that game. So they're right back where they were. Here's the one that's crazy. Georgia, after beating Ole Miss at home, would be playing Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So Georgia
may.
That's
more
a hell of a
interesting
game right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that game almost feels, that feels, that would have been very interesting. And Ohio State, I think, ends up wearing out Penn State eventually. But that's what they've been doing in the last several years. So we're going to say Ohio State beat Penn State. They play Washington. Washington doesn't even. I don't even know if Washington makes the Final Four, although I shouldn't sell Kalen DeBoer short because he seems to be beating all of these teams at Washington. He did that. But it may have been a slightly different-looking Final Four. I think Alabama and Michigan would have been in. I wouldn't have been surprised. It might have been Ohio State getting in. And, boy, that Georgia-Texas game, I can't even get my head around it.
Yeah, well, and that's what we want. We want more good, meaningful games.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see how it plays out. Let me ask you this. You keep bringing up how long, and I know we're getting close on time, but you keep bringing up how long until we go to 16. My question for you is, how long until the quarterfinals are on campus? I don't think the top 4 seeds are going to be thrilled with going to neutral sites.
No,
I just don't.
That's why I said.
And I mean, why are they? I mean, is the bowl system that important that we have to prop up 7 games a year instead of 3? I think that the top 4 seeds, when they see how exciting, how great the atmosphere is for those first round playoff games, particularly if we get lucky with some matchups, I mean, North versus South, that sort of deal. I don't think the top 4 seeds are going to like playing it a neutral site somewhere. I think they're going to be like, why can't we get a home game?
Well, that's why I think 16 makes so much sense. And so there's 8, the top 8.
I understand that.
All
but
host.
You're not answering the question though. Listen, Tom, we're all in agreement.
I don't want an extra game. I don't think I want it. I will give up that home atmosphere for a game and all that kind of stuff. I think I'm giving that up to rest and start playing New Year's weekend or whenever the hell they're going to play. Around Christmas time, I guess, is when they're going to play the quarterfinal game. I'll hang out and I'll go play a quarterfinal game because I think if I'm a team that's in the South and that quarterfinal game is in the Peach Bowl or in New Orleans or in Jacksonville or wherever it is, it's close enough. It doesn't have to be on campus. I would give it that. It's not worth the risk of playing a game, risk of injury, risk of getting upset.
Oh, Tom, stop it. Honestly, come on.
You're not keeping the money. They're keeping the college football players taking the friggin' money. All you get is your parking money. You don't get anything.
Tom, no offense. There's no one involved in college football that gives a damn about the welfare of these players. Please, risk of injury. Now you're going to start calling them student athletes.
No, the coach does. I'm saying from a coaching standpoint.
The coach doesn't care.
The coach cares about his. He doesn't want to take a risk of getting his quarterback dinged. You don't want to.
Oh, for goodness sakes!
All right, listen. Your boy Joe Buck is going to do a baseball. I miss Joe on baseball. I really do. I know he doesn't miss Joe on baseball, but I miss Joe on baseball. I thought it was incredibly ironic. This game that he was supposed to do with Chip Carey, whose brother Josh Carey comes on with us every week. He's the voice of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. But he and Chip were going to do that game, and it was a Cardinals-Cubs game, which is like perfect. And it was like Harry and Jack got together and said, "No, you're not. No, you're not. Kid, we're going to rain that sucker out. You're not playing that. You're not going to be broadcasting that game." So now they're going to try it again, and it's like I think they're playing like Arizona or something. It really kind of sucks that they're playing a game like that. But anyway, they'll be calling a game. Joe Buck and Chip Carey together. That's going to be an entertaining night. To me, that's even more fun than playing in a cornfield in Iowa or at Rickwood or something like that. I think that's going to be very entertaining.
Well, for those in St. Louis, who were able to watch it on local TV, not the national audience that was watching on MLB Network, when the game went to a rain delay, MLB Network didn't stay with the local broadcast. But obviously in St. Louis, they did. And so Carey and Buck sat around for an hour and a half during a rain delay and swapped stories. Yeah. It was actually terrific. I mean, I don't know if they'll be able to tell as many stories during the game coming up as they did during the rain delay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be – it's the Texas Rangers is who they're playing. That's who they're playing. They're playing the Rangers, which is a rematch of the World Series, in 2011 or something?
Yeah. Arguably, Joe's greatest calls, including "We'll see you tomorrow night" as an ode to his dad.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The interesting part about that, too, is that the next day or 2 days later, it's 2 days before the trade deadline, and you can make a case that both those teams will be sellers, including the defending World Series champ Rangers.
No. You mean the Cubs?
No.
The
Rangers and the Cardinals. I think the Rangers.
The Cardinals are hot. The Cardinals are 6 games above 500. They're not sellers. If anything, they may buy something.
Yeah, maybe they will be buying. But it'd be the trade deadline. It'll be right there. Let's see, I didn't realize the Cardinals had moved up that much. Oh yeah, they are hot.
Yeah,
they're in.
No, right now they're on a roll.
Yeah, they're 2.5 behind the Braves for the first spot in the wild card. I didn't realize that they were rolling like that. Oh, it's a good job by them. And they had such a terrible start to the season. All right, appreciate you. Great stuff as always. We're entertained every morning over on 97.7-2 over on Talk Radio WZZM with you guys. Tune them in, and Miller and Moulton, and they'll knock you dead.
Are we really going to do this next week? You're going to be in Dallas with all those guests. You're still going to want to talk to me?
I'm leaving you on. I got to look and see when everybody is falling out live.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what you end up doing.
I'm going to get bumped. I'm making that prediction right now. I'm getting bumped.
I got to look at it. What you end up doing, the technology has gotten so good over there. What ends up happening is you're like a DJ in Dallas because you have a live feed to your board of what's going on in the main room. And so somebody will say, okay, Kalen Bohr is up. All right, fine. And we throw it to the main room, and we just carry it live. We used to have to cut up the highlights of what the coach said and all that stuff. Now we just pipe up pot number 5, and we get what's coming out of the main room live, instantaneous for the listeners. So I have to look at during my show and see each day noon to 2, what coaches are. We have in fact, we did this today a little bit in our staff meeting. Like, we're not taking Shane Beamer live. We just said we're not doing that. But we have a list of guys. Obviously, DeBoer, Heupel, Freeze, and we decided Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian. So there's 5 right out, and Kirby Smart. There's 6. There's 6 coaches that our listeners are going to hear live from the podium. And we're just going to throw it to the podium, and that's it. It's the easiest radio show you ever did in your life. But the others, there's a group of others. We might do Venables. We got to decide. You know what I mean? We got to decide who we're going to carry live and who we're going to let slide and just take some highlights of. So you might get bumped.
Might get bumped. That doesn't even talk about all the media walking around the room.
Well, you're part of that, even though you're not walking around the room. I mean, I want to get your take. By then, it'll be, we're going to do Tuesday. So we'll have had a couple of days in the hopper, and we want to hear what, we want to hear your take on what's been going on there, possibly. Unless unless Paul Feinbaum falls out or something like that. Then you might get bumped. I'll bump you for Marty Smith. I'll bump you for Paul Feinbaum. I would bump you for, we're not going to have our CBS guys there. Oh, man, I'm going to miss not seeing Gary and Brad and all the CBS guys. Neuheisel. I wonder if any of those guys are going to show up. They're not going to be there. They were always great. I guess we're not going to have any of those guys.
No, and I'll be curious how many shows Fowler and Herb Street do.
Well, they'll be everywhere. All right, man. I appreciate you. We'll see. I'll let you.
All right, safe travels, buddy.
Fluid next week. It's very fluid next week.
I'll bet it is.
Yeah. All right. Man. Appreciate you.
Take care.
God, it feels like NPR radio. See, Grizz, we're not going to be able to do it. Well, next week we can do this. We can do this next week because I already alerted management at WCDT. I already alerted them that it's fluid next week because stuff just falls out. So they're going to have to, But after that, no more 37-minute blocks.
No more NPR radio.
No more NPR radio.
I know everybody loves it, and I know I do too. So.
We got to take our commercial. This is not a freaking podcast. Let's get a break. We'll come back with more right after this. The Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Springs showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are a grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and this summer we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling sluggish? Gentlemen, Game Day Men's Health. Game Day Men's Health is here to help you. Braden is here. Braden, you've got the answers.
Thanks, Scott. Whether it's low T, erectile dysfunction, weight loss, or a number of other things, we have a solution for them.
It's Game Day Men's Health. Give them a call today at
256-850-1570.
You can find them online.
GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, what man wouldn't like to have tests done in a man cave?
That's right. Come in for your free test and consultation. Walk into a world-class staff, a comfortable, relaxed environment, and we got your results in about 20 minutes with appointments less than an hour.
And the big game is always on the TV. It's Game Day Men's Health. Give them a call.
256-850-1570.
Online.
GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
It's Game Day Men's Health, not your average men's clinic.
Thom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Located in the heart of Research Park, Shaggy's Burgers and Tacos is the perfect spot to curb your appetite. Our Shagalicious menu includes fresh from the grill burgers and chili dogs, Tex-Mex favorites like tacos and queso, and more. Plus, it's the perfect spot to pick up breakfast. Our famous breakfast burritos, quesadillas, and delicious biscuits are a great way to start your day. Come on by. Shaggy's is open Monday through Saturday on Enterprise Way in Huntsville's Research Park. Order online at shaggysburgersandtacos.com.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Damn, that's worth $1,000 right there. I'm paying the grand. I'll pay it out of my own pocket. Don't you pot that down. I need a cigarette. All right, Freebird is brought to you by the Service Department at Woody Anderson Ford, the award-winning Service Department at Woody Anderson Ford. Don't forget they got a mobile service there at Woody Anderson Ford where they'll come to you. Their convenient mobile program services include things like oil changes and tire rotations or parts replacements like windshield wipers or lights. And if you're only available on a weekend or in the evening, they got the Quick Lane Service, your one-stop shop to service brakes, tires, and batteries. No matter the service your Ford needs, Woody Anderson Ford ensures quick, professional, and exceptional service. It's Woody Anderson Ford. Don't forget the certified gold pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson Ford as well. We got to get back on our clocks. We're taking a short break, a short segment here, I should say. Grizz, how is Slappy intern doing? I got to give him a handle, don't I? I know he was on the board over there a little
bit. You got
bit.
a nickname or anything?
What
call you anything?
What do we call him? What's his name?
B-Rad. B-Rad.
B-Rad?
Yeah, like B-Rad.
What's
like
his
B-Rich.
name? Brad? Isn't it? What's
Brad.
Brad
B-Rad.
is his name?
Yeah.
Where's he go to school? Troy?
Troy. Trojan Brad.
Trojan Brad. No, I think I'll go with Slappy the intern.
So would you still call Bailey?
He's still Slappy the intern.
You call him Slappy anyway.
I do call him Slappy. He is a Slappy. There's no doubt about it. How's he doing? He's doing all right?
Yeah, he's doing great.
Seems
he's asking questions. He's trying to get involved. He's like, I want to be on the air, but he's like, I want to do everything behind the scenes too.
He seems fairly sharp.
Yeah, very smart.
What kind of a pipe does he have? Put him on the air.
Pretty
Let
good.
me see. Let me hear what he sounds like. All right, let me see what Slappy sounds like here. So this is Brad the intern.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Were you hyperventilating over there? I mean, come on, Brad.
No.
I know this isn't Troy Radio. I mean, Trojan Radio, but goodness gracious almighty.
No, it's been pretty good. It's a lot of fun learning behind the scenes and getting accustomed to it too. I mean, radio is one of those things where it's a really good entry for television, and it's something that you got to learn.
Wait a minute. We're an entry for television? Is that what they're doing? We're a stepping stone for TV?
Well, oh, no.
Is that what you're saying? We're an entry for television?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No. Radio.
This is a destination job, my friend.
This is a destination, but my goal is to be the next Jim Nantz, be the next Tony Romo.
So you like
on
play
air.
by? Well, you can't be Tony Romo. All right, first of all, because you're not an athlete. All right, you can beat Jim Nantz. You can't be Tony Romo. So you like doing play-by-play?
I do. That's the specialty.
Hey, Grizz, don't we need, we're short some play-by-play guys possibly. The problem is you're going to be in Troy. How long do we have you till?
A few more weeks until the 23rd.
Of what?
July.
And then what?
And then I've got class.
Get the hell out of here. What do you mean, in August?
Yeah, semester starts in August.
You're only here for a couple of more weeks?
Yeah. It's been a busy summer. The cruise took up a lot.
Oh, the cruise. That's right. I'm sorry. I had to go on a cruise. We get an intern. He wants a gig at the radio station, so we get an intern for 4 weeks, and a week and a half he's been on vacation. Jeez. Goodness gracious.
Hey, man, that was...
What do you think,
that
you're
was
me?
That
you
was
just miss shows all the time?
That's like Tom's planned events all the time that he has.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I worked a long time to have, 41 weeks vacation. Jeez.
Hey, man, blame it on my parents. That was planned for a year and a half, and they told me a month.
Tell them, say, look,
they told me a month before.
I have an internship. I can't go. I gotta stay.
Sorry, got to see the Bahamas. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. What play-by-play have you done?
I've worked with my high school. I was the play-by-play for football and basketball.
What high school did you go?
Pace High School.
Okay.
And then
where is that?
It's in Florida, Northwest Florida.
Oh, that's right. You're a Florida kid. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I've done a little bit of work with Troy, but they've got their guy Barry McKnight up there, and he's pretty cool.
Barry's a good friend. Like Barry.
Yeah, they do that, and they have some. ESPN
I have Barry.
crews.
I stole Barry's chart, play-by-play chart, which I actually used even in the Alliance when I did AAF games. I stole Barry's chart, and it's out there. If you go to Barry McKnight, whatever, and you go to play-by-play charts, it's one of the best. Now I modified it for me. I've changed it around a little bit for me. But for the most part, it's Barry McKnight's chart. If you're looking for a good chart to use for play-by-play spotting, seriously, you get Barry McKnight's stuff and get it, blanket, get all the stuff out of it, and then you kind of make it your own. That would be my advice for that. So you'll be at Troy. So you will not be you would not be available to take one of our teams if we asked you to do games on Friday nights up here. I mean, it pays. It's not like an intern job,
Mm-hmm. I would not be able to just based off the location.
Yeah,
It's 4 hours from here to Troy, and then
Yeah.
it's another 2 back home. So it's kind of far. But
Yeah,
if
it
I
would
was
be.
up here for college, or if they did stuff over the summer, for sure, absolutely, it'd be a great opportunity.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. If I knew you were only going to be here for a total of 4 weeks, I wouldn't even have put you on the air. But, I'm glad that you got a little chance to do it. So, good job. No, it's been great having you. And then next week's going to be very busy. It's all hands on deck for you guys back here. And then of course, after that is a high school media days at Toyota Field. We're going to need you there. And then after – and what did you say you're here till? 23rd?
23rd, 24th.
That's it. You're done. After high school media day, that's it. We won't even give you. We'll give you like a Cracker Jack plastic ring. That'll be your going away gift. I mean, that's what, no gold watch for the epic 3.5 weeks that you were here with us at the radio station. All right, give the microphone back to Grizz.
Man, looking forward to it. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, yeah, good job by you. Why don't you tell me, Grizz? I didn't know he was only here for 15 minutes.
I didn't know that he.
The heck is that?
What?
We haven't even paid him yet. You realize he hasn't even gotten his first paycheck yet? I
think
might not even give him a paycheck. I mean, screw it.
It's like because he wasn't here, and then it's like we got paid when he wasn't here.
Well, remember when I hired him? When we put him on, the first thing he said, he gave me a list of dates that he's got to be off. Oh, God. All right, let's get a break, and we'll come home. Listen, I still have that other list. I'm not going to get to it today. That's all right, though. I do this thing 2 hours a day every day, so we'll get to it at some point in time. All right, we get a break. We'll come back, wrap her up next. This is the Thom Abraham Show. More after this.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? My phone rings in my office.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're the ones who take your call.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Spring Showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Beginning Friday morning, get $50 worth of delicious food from Coralejos Mexican Grill for just $25 with our zone deal at 977ESPN.com. Coupons good for food purchase only. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
All right, Grizz, let's take a look at top of the hour texts and tweets. Your reaction to the show today. The Chubby Ninja says, I flew back from India with my 3-year-old adopted son that we met 3 days prior. 21 hours straight, flew right over the North Pole. Suck it up and fly to Dallas. I am flying to Dallas. I'm just saying I'm not, the happiest camper in the world getting on a plane. That's all. It's more about the confinement thing. I'm a little bit claustrophobic. Ray Dog says, not only am I playing St. Andrews when I go to the UK, I'm playing Carnoustie. I might try to squeeze in Royal St. George while I'm at it. Let's see. Somebody else said it was 120. Round of golf at St. Andrews is $180. That's Volman. Now, for $180, you play. $600, you don't play. $180, you play. Let's see. That was a question. I answered that. LSU Lynch said, what happened? You need to put the Santa hat on the Wolverine Dan photo. I guess that was something from WZZ.
He sent me another one.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, got a long one here from Harry. Too long for me to read, but I will read. I mean, I'll read it, but I won't read it on air, Harry. Just a little long. A lot going on here. All right, well, that's going to do it. Coming up next, the Paul Feinbaum Show. I'm Tom Abraham on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one